Hey, you guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Old School versus New School.
Yeah, we're in the house again. What's going on, TheeEnicole? Let's make it happen.
I know, right? So, I'm not turning the camera on just yet because I'm not feeling too well.
Right. Yeah.
But,
You be all right. You be all right.
you need to go give me some of those Flintstones vitamins.
Yeah. Make sure you get those dinos, those little purple dinos. They all that. For
And
real.
look, I'm right for the occasion, purple over here.
That's it. I see that.
So, today, I don't know how everybody's going to feel. I will go ahead and put this out here. It might be a little trigger warning needing to be put out there because, I don't know any of you guys' personal situations, but we're going to be very candid about this situation because it is very prevalent, has been for a very long while. But before I get into all that, let's look at this video we have for you guys today.
I'm trying to see what my food is. I'm trying to track my food. Stop. Huh? I'm trying to track my food.
Get all A's. He got A's in arithmetic.
I don't understand.
Well, he did. So you don't know if he's here or not.
Oh!
All three?
I know.
All three?
Oh, where Ronnie at?
All three come down here. Don't find out what's going on.
Oh!
Strange standing around one of those bicycles to study all the time. All three, you hear me?
Well, Alex, I'm gonna let you go first, and then I'm gonna kind of follow up.
Wow. Yeah, this is elder abuse. This is the definition of elder abuse. I hope the nurse or whoever that is fired. She need to be. Obviously, we don't know what precipitated this situation, what went on prior to or whatever, but I don't see any reason for that. I really don't. The elderly woman is in a wheelchair. She's no kind of threat to you whatsoever. Your job is to care for these people. You trained for this. This is what you trained and went to school for. You sat in class for hours and hours and months to learn how to deal with these situations and these people. You already know what you're coming up against. So I've seen this so many times where these people, they figure it's going to be easy. I'll go in here and I'll babysit some old people. I'll make my money, blah, blah, blah. It's a cakewalk. But they're still people. They need a lot of attention. They're in their golden years. They're sick. They're not well. They're cranky. They're all these different kind of things. And when you come up against it, now you're upset. Okay? This is not how you deal with this type of situation. So I'm sorry to see this. I know some folks may be triggered. But this is a real thing. It is happening more and more, even for private home attendants. My mother had a massive stroke at 42 years old. She had a massive stroke, brain surgery, everything debilitated her for the last 18, 19 years of her life. And we had to get her home attendants and stuff like that. And there was some abuse in her situation. She had so many different home attendants because we couldn't find anybody credible that we really trusted enough. And the one person we thought we could trust enough, even over time, they became abusive. So I've lived this thing. And something needs to be done because nobody's talking about it. The legislative of the country, of course, they're not talking about it. They're talking about other stuff and other nonsense. But this is something that really needs to be addressed. We got to take care of our elderly better than this. So I hope this young lady is fired and never get another position in this industry.
Well, I'm going to be coming at this one from a different angle. While elder abuse is totally wrong, I'm going to start with this. So, being younger, you guys know I grew up in church and everything like that. In church, you have different groups and stuff, like the ushers, the the nurses. Well, the little girls have a group and an organization called the Guild Girls, right? Where older women take the younger girls out and we have like classes or we go to outings and basically trying to teach you how to be a lady and stuff like that, right? So we had a little field trip to a nursing home and we basically was singing to them, talking to the older seniors. And on our way out, one of the men did not want to go to bed. Like it was time for everyone to go back to their rooms and everything, time for us to leave. And he was enjoying himself and he didn't want to leave. And one of the nurse aides basically was wheeling him to his room. And he, of course, he was resisting. He was holding on to the door jamb, and he wouldn't let go. And they're trying to get him loose from holding on to it, and he just would not let go, no matter what. And so they began to slam the door on his hands for him to let go. And that bothered me so much as a child that when I came of age, I ended up going to classes and becoming an STNA because the type of person I am, when I don't like certain things, I like to be a person of change. I'm not really a talker. I like to do. So with that being said, the classes that you take to get these certifications and things like that, they do not prepare you for that. They really don't. They do not prepare you for what you're really going to be encountering when you're in these type of situations.
So they never take you into residence like a doctor would, something like that.
No, not to become a state-tested nurse assistant. Now, there are two different things, right, that people often get mixed up, which is a STNA and a CNA, right? So a CNA can work in a home and they can even work in some facilities, but they can't do everything that a state-tested nurse assistant can do, because I was tested by the state. A CNA is just, you get the certificate after the class, right? So in the medical field, it's called scope of practice. So it's these circles that overlap with each other, but you don't have all the same credentials as the person above you, right? So they don't have clinicals. You don't go on clinicals like to a facility or anything like that. You basically are practicing with your classmates or whatever. And my class was very small, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not like you go to college for this. This is like a trade, basically. Mm-hmm. So in that instance that we saw on the video, you can see the lady grabbing at the nurse assistant. And oftentimes, let's be honest, these people are not getting proper care. So their fingernails don't be cut all the time. It's all type of food and feces under their nails. Now, when I went, of course, I took care of my residents. Like when I worked in a nursing home in the mornings, when the day shift people would come, they would be like, we knew you was at work today. We smelled the hallways. The hallways smell good. Everybody hair braided to the back, you know? But I thought that was so unfair, because why does it take for me to come to work for the halls to not smell like feces and everybody hair all over their head? Ain't nobody lotioned. You know what I mean? Nobody's clean. That's not fair. However, let's just be real. There's not enough employees. There's not enough employees. In that instance that we saw, because I didn't see any restraint belt on her from the wheelchair. So if she really was not capable of walking, she was supposed to have a restraint belt on her, a gait belt. Mm-hmm. She's grabbing at her. Also, a lot of these people that are in the nursing home, let's just be real about it, they are racist. So they're calling us all type of names. And if you're not strong enough and built for that, you should not be in that profession.
Well, this is why they need to have a residency program to take these youngsters or whoever's venturing into this business to go in there and know exactly what you're going to be dealing with. See, you can be in the police academy as long as you want, but there's nothing like being on the street and dealing with these people live and in action. Okay, that's with any profession. At least with doctors, you go into residency and stuff like that, and you actually be in the hospital. So this needs to be the same type of situation. Now, when you're talking about people who are raised racist, now they old racist people set in their ways, they don't want black people touching them, or they have no respect for black people taking care of them and things of that nature. That's a real thing too. And those are things that have to be considered as well, which is very unfortunate, honestly, because you're in your golden years. You're about to check out of here. This usually a nursing home is the last stop. Very few people leave a nursing home to go back to their children's house or their own home. Usually a nursing home is the last stop. Okay.
And so let me stop you here for just 1 second. It was never supposed to be that way. A nursing home was supposed to be just that. I'm going to give you an example. First, I'm going to start with the reason why they're not going to do that, because there's no money in that. There's no money in sending people to the residence if you're just going to be a little lowly STNA in their eyes. It's not enough money in that. Now, the nursing home was put in place for if your mother, father, auntie, whatever, and even some young people go to the nursing home if they can't take care of themselves. You're supposed to go there, get rehabilitated, and go back home.
Right.
That was the purpose for the nursing home at first. But then there's no money in that because nobody's occupying the beds.
Always follow.
So they have a system where an old lady falls. She breaks her hip, right? When she comes in, she still wants to walk around and she still wants to do everything because these are human beings who have lived full lives and are used to doing things on their own, right?
Right.
So they resist at first. They want to walk. They want to go to bingo. They want to go to lunch and see their other friends and eat grits with Sally Mae. And after so long and they're looking around, they see these other people. Well, today she don't want to walk. Mm-hmm. So then they write an order for her to get a walker. That's more money going to the nursing home.
Yeah.
After so while, she's looking around. People are either walking on their own or they're in a wheelchair mostly. It's not many in walkers. Mm-hmm. So now she don't want the walker. I don't want to walk. Wheel me over there. So now what? They write another order for a wheelchair. That's more money to the nursing home. Mm-hmm. After a while, especially if she doesn't have any family coming to check up on her and making sure that everybody's treating their family member correctly, now she don't want to get out of bed today. Now we're supposed to give them 3 attempts to get them out the bed, right? But who really does that when they have so many people that they have to get up and get dressed and get ready for breakfast at the same time? They say, all right, Mary Jane just gonna get in a wheelchair. I don't got time for this. Because they're frustrated. They really don't care anyway. They're just there for a check.
Right.
So now she's stuck to the wheelchair. Eventually, she's not going to want to get out of bed and she's going to be stuck to the bed. Now you bring her breakfast to the bed. That's another check. These people really do not care.
It's always about the money. It's always about the buck. Always. It's the medicine that these people take. That's a lot of money for the pharmaceutical industry. The job is to keep them doped up or to keep them in pills. I used to look at my father's medicine cabinet, God rest his soul. Look like a crayon box, a Crayola box. Okay? Every color pill you could think of. And he had to take them every day. That's a lot of money for the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
And also, here's the other thing, TheeEnicole. They take out life insurance, the institution, for every patient in there. Okay, so when the patient dies, not only do the family have a separate policy for whatever they got, the institution has life insurance on this person and get money because they're a resident there. They're responsible for them. So they take out life insurance policies. And truth be told, United States government has done that with all of us.
All of us. That's why we have social security numbers.
All of our birth certificates, everything.
Yeah.
They have life insurance on all of us. And when something happened to us, they make money. So this is always about the money for these people. When I say these people, you know who I'm talking about. Because I'm going to go back to something that you just said. A lot of these older white people that are in these nursing facilities grew up racist. They're going to die racist. It's just what's in them. It's in them. It's in their psyche. It's in their DNA, right? When I used to work years ago on Wall Street, you know, I used to work for Shares and Lehman Brothers, big stock exchange, stock brokerage firm in New York back in the day. I used to work with a guy, you know, his name was Derek. And I was like 19 years old at this time, very, very young, right? So we used to go out for lunch and hang out. And I always saw these black nannies pushing around these white babies. And for a while, I didn't pay it much mind. Then I'm seeing this every day. I'm like, wait, hold on. What is this? This is crazy, right? Usually they'd be like Haitian women, black Haitian women, or foreigners, African women, or whatever. And so one day I said to Derek, I said, yo, what's up with this black nanny thing? We're all pushing around these white kids. He said, yeah, I know. He said, it's crazy, right? I said, well, at least to show them white kids that they should be grateful that somebody really took care of them, how we really looking out for them and taking care of them. He said, nah, Alex, you're looking at it wrong. I said, well, what you mean? He says, because doing it this way, they grew up believing you're supposed to serve them.
Exactly.
Shut me down. I had nothing else to say because that's the absolute truth.
Mm-hmm.
And they grow up with that and they live their life like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it never gets out of them. So they grow up with this hate, this disdain for us. So when we become their caregiver, they still don't like us. They still have no appreciation for us. So that exists as well.
And not even so much, you know, some of them, of course, have this thing, but others of them is just simply, you are a servant to me. You have no value other than serving me. You know what I mean?
Right. That's right. That's right. But even
it's a very ugly circle. It's an ugly circle.
Ugly circle. And even with that, TheeEnicole, I'll just say this. You are still a trained professional. You have to remember that too. Okay, you take a whole oath, whether it's the Hippocratic oath or the hypocritical oath to some people, because a lot of places you go and you need all the help you can get. And if you don't have insurance, they're throwing you out. So, but that's not what the Hippocratic oath stands for. Okay, they take these oaths. And
they're not kicking you out though.
No, when listen, if you ain't got insurance or nothing,
they're not kicking you out. You then become basically a ward of the state, and the state is basically paying the hospital or nursing home.
But I've seen people in emergency room situations. Well, we talking about nursing homes, but in emergency room situations.
Oh yeah, emergency room. Yeah, you're out.
Yeah, you out. Okay.
But as a senior, the state takes you on.
Right, the state takes you on. You become a ward of the state. That's true. Which they love because it's more money.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So they want you to decline.
Right.
They want you to slowly decline so they can eat.
Right. Right. So it's like, you know, you take these the police department. They take these oaths, you know, to protect, you know. So what's the thing they go by? Protect and serve. That's the main thing. Every police department, protect and serve, protect and serve. Okay, but you out here killing people. Yeah. You're not protecting and serving because if you grew up a racist, now you're a racist in a blue uniform. That don't change. Your upbringing doesn't change. The oath has nothing to do with the way you were raised and brought up.
Correct. Yeah.
So this is serious business, man. It's like, I don't know, you know, sometimes, TheeEnicole, I get faith in humanity. I say, listen, you know, you meet some good people, you say, okay, you know what? There are some good people left. But for the most part, I really have no faith in humanity, man. We are a screwed up bunch. We destroyed this planet. We're not good to each other. Man's inhumanity to man is what has destroyed this planet. Period.
Yeah. So I'm going to play the video one more time. I want you guys to really pay attention to every movement. Every movement. Here we go.
I'm trying to see what my food is. I'm trying to track my food. I'm trying to track my food.
You know, he didn't get all A's. He got a rubber dick.
I don't understand.
Well, he did. So you don't know if he's here or not.
Oh!
All three?
I know.
All three?
Oh, where Ronnie at?
All three come down here. stay on time. Opie, you hear me?
So as we begin to look over these comments and see what you guys are saying, I want y'all to notice somebody walks right past them, does not give the assistant any assistance. This person recording, I don't know if she works there, but sounds like she is because she's waiting for her lunch break. She's recording instead of helping restrain and laughing. There's so many things going on wrong. You can hear a nurse over an intercom. I'm sure a nurse station is close by somewhere because nurses stations are required to be in so many feet of rooms and open areas.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you know what else, TheeEnicole? You know, she was ass out, literally. So why don't she have a Depends on, a Pamper on, something? You know, underwear.
She might be somebody who throws her feces on people. Like, you know what I mean? It's so many variables when it comes to these nursing homes. I'm telling you. the amount of things I seen while being an STNA, it was crazy. And I don't do it anymore because I was tired of being the, what you want to say, the Malcolm X of the nursing home, because I will be going off on people every day. Like, you didn't even wash your hands after you did this. Why are you doing this? We need, she's a 2-person. Why are y'all not helping? Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
And the person walking by looking like, okay, this happens every day, no big deal. The person,
it does.
The person recording and laughing, to me,
totally
they have a problem. Okay. Mm-hmm. They're not even going, put the camera down, go help the woman, right, or whatever the case is, because you probably work there. I doubt you're a relative of either. Okay.
Exactly.
So what are you doing? Just recording. Everybody in society now want to pick up their cameras when people are in need and just start recording. Somebody getting beat down in the street, everybody got their phones up.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a phenomenon that I'm not particularly crazy about, but they need to find out who's behind that camera. Talk to the woman who just walked by like doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo.
Because she needed help. You clearly saw the lady grabbing her, scratching her, I'm sure. Like, let's look at some of these comments though.
Okay. All right.
Hey guys.
Hey, what we got going on in these comments? What y'all talking about?
This is very triggering for her. Before we get into it, you guys, I am still quite exhausted. As you can see, my voice sounds totally different than it just did. So I'm going to be behind the camera tonight, but I am here with you guys, and I'm going to let Alex take the lead tonight.
Yeah. And you know, Marissa Dumas, she says that this is tragic and quite triggering for her. I would like to hear her story or have her maybe give us a couple of details on what her situation was. Maybe we can elaborate on that a little bit. But, you know, I didn't know that the Hippocratic Oath comes from originally the Greek physician and philosopher Hippocrates. That's where it comes from. So he kind of coined the Hippocratic Oath. And so when he coined it, it just basically says an oath stating the obligations and proper conduct of doctors formerly taken by those beginning medical practice. Parts of the oath are still used in most medical schools. So basically, really what it is that, listen, you can't misuse your medical authority. You can't turn people away who are in need. You must use your expertise in medicine for good, okay, for the good of the people and the wellness of the people. You can't discriminate against anyone, okay? So how many of these professionals actually abide by the Hippocratic Oath? Because we know once money gets involved, TheeEnicole, and these people start making, they may enter the field with good intentions. Most of them may. But once money starts to intervene and they be making these mountains and mountains of money, that always begins to take precedence, and it always creates a path for corruption. That's what money does. The love of money is the root of all evil. Money's not the root of all evil. It's the love of money. And this happens in all fields, particularly the medical field, because there's so much money to be made. It's always going to be sick people. They're always going to need medicine. They're always going to need care. So it's a lot of money in the industry and just a den of corruption if you're not careful. If you don't have the top ethics and you want to protect your integrity and your moral base, then you're going to be easily corrupted by money and power.
Well, here's the thing. I think before before money gets into it, I think that some people do start with good intentions, but you don't really know how much it requires till you get into the field. Like, even though I had a good heart and I wanted to do it, I was not prepared. Like, I didn't know that, like, when you go home from being an STNA at the end of your shift, you feel like you just got done building a house. Like, you're lifting people, turning people. People are fighting you. You do have to restrain people. You try to do it the best of your ability. They don't really hire enough staff. So unless your heart is really in it, you're not properly taking care of those people. And I'm sad to say the majority of the people that work in these fields, hearts is not on the job.
Well, you know, true enough for me, I wouldn't know how I would respond all day. People throwing shitty diapers at me. Grown people now. You know, I'm a father of 4. Excuse me. I'm a father of 4. And at some point, I didn't even want to change my children's diapers because it was getting that bad. When children start eating real food, when they stop sucking those bottles and eating that mash, whatever they eat, and start eating real food, and they doo-doo start to change odor. So you don't want to change that. So now you're dealing with grown people's feces and they throwing diapers at you or digging up their behind and trying to touch your face. And all. That is a whole different dynamic and phenomenon that is never really addressed publicly. I'm pretty sure people in the field know about this kind of thing, but publicly, the public doesn't know about this. But as I said before, you're still the professional. And that's why I keep saying they need a residency program for CNAs and home health aides and things of that nature to understand what they're dealing with when they walk in the door. There's nothing like walking in. There's nothing like walking in that door and dealing with this stuff live and in person.
I also need to clarify something I said in the recording. I said that there was no clinicals. That's partly true and partly false. I misspoke. Like, because we did go to like a nursing home, but like we weren't allowed to interact with the residents. Whereas in a true clinical, you're actually shadowing a nurse or a nurse assistant, watching what they're doing, and you're helping them. Like, we didn't have hands-on type of experience. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to clarify that. And then I wanted to know if you can see Black Gold's comments. Could you read those?
Yeah, I was going to respond to that. Black Gold says, you got to have an advocate for your loved ones or be that advocate and hold them accountable that you put into these facilities, you know, and hold them accountable that you put into these things. And he also says burnout effect is what happens to most workers. Same thing with prisons. Yes, because you do deal with a lot of burnout from being overworked. Because in certain professions, the medical profession, if you're a doctor, a nurse, CNA, whatever, if you're a police officer, listen, if your relief calls out, you got to stay. Okay, if something happens and your relief can't make it in, you have to stay. A lot of these things are mandatory that you have to stay. And you experience a lot of burnout. And just being human beings, you know, we get tired. The more exhausted we get, the crankier we get. And that's just being human. So something has to be done about that as well. You know, overworking these people, these mandatory overtimes. You know, you do an 8, 9, 10-hour shift, your relief don't show up, and then it turns into 18, 19 hours. It's like, really? How can you stay alert like that for 18, 19 hours? So
And don't get us wrong, some of us, we pick those up, we try. Because I know I used to pick up so many shifts. This was before I had my child and stuff like that. It is good money, but you don't have the right assistance. So if you don't have the right assistance, even though your intentions are right, you can't humanly do it.
no. The body has to rest to function. The body has to be fed properly to function. Black Gold also says facts. Working doubles in law enforcement sucks. I used to be a security officer years ago in a nursing facility.
Let me
Okay.
find out you was top flight.
And when you funny. And when my relief didn't show up, I had to stay. And then there were times when I worked triples. That's a 24-hour shift. 8 hours a shift. So a triple is 24 hours. Okay. So there were times when I had to try to, have the person I'm working with, listen, I'm going to take a nap for an hour, wash the desk or whatever. But I'm really going on 24 hours. So that's a real thing. And it's hard to function like that. Yeah. It really is.
Not to mention the different levels, they don't help each other. Like, I know some nurses gonna get upset when they hear me say this, but it's just facts. And all the STNAs are gonna back me up. STNAs, we knew the most about the patients, the residents. Like, we knew their favorite color, what they can and cannot eat, what their daughter's names and son's name was, what's their favorite outfits. And, we would tell them something is going on with such and such and so-and-so. Some of them just simply did not care. I'm not saying that's 100% of nurses because we know that's not the case. But a lot of nurses, they just chilling all night. They do their little rounds of their pills, and the rest is on us as aides. So it's like the standards need to be really reconstructed. And I feel like that's one reason why people of color, we have to start investing into certain facilities and stuff like that so that we can deem a whole new, qualifications of working here, qualifications of staying here, because some facilities are really strictly there just to be a coin collector.
Yeah. That's a fact. So, I used to hate, when I had to go up and, visit my mom and things of that nature. My mother always had, after her stroke, she's always had home health care. The home attendant would come to the house. And then, 18 years or so later, she had another, minor stroke. And she had to go into a nursing home, and she didn't live a year. She lived 11 months after that. Now the nursing home she was in was very, very nice. But again, you have to always question the treatment that they're getting in these facilities and what kind of insurances they're taking out on your loved one, because it gets to a point where they're just a dollar sign. They're just a dollar sign in there because, as you said previously, nursing homes were not originally designed for people to come and die. They were rehabilitation centers.
Yes.
But now people are coming there just to die. And I think it needs to be reverted back to its original plan of action.
Yeah, people of all ages, actually. Like, we've had residents who have, like, we had a resident one time, she was in a high speed police chase. And she got out the car and jumped over the, like, bypass thing, thinking the ground was closer than it was. And she broke both her hips. So she was not in a hospital. She was in a nursing home.
For rehabilitation.
Right, correct.
Right. So, and I saw another. What was that?
Didn't get it.
Didn't get the rehabilitation.
No.
Not surprising. I saw a video last week or a couple of weeks ago now, and prior to us coming up with this subject, this was your idea to do this subject. And I saw an elderly man in a wheelchair in a nursing facility, and the nurse CNA or whoever was trying to give him, his meds, and he kept telling her, "I don't want my meds. I want you to suck my D." And she was like, well, I can't do that, sir. You have to take your pills. I don't want the pill. I want you to suck my D. And he just kept saying it and saying it. You know what I mean? And it's like, this the kind of abuse. And it was a white guy, old white man, and a black nurse. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it, but he could have just been an old man who wanted to get his rocks off because
I'm gonna say it don't have nothing to do with it.
Right. Okay. So he probably just an old man wanted to get his rocks off. You know,
Because that's the
whatever the
last
case
thing
may
to
be.
leave on y'all. That's the last thing to leave on a man is his sexual urges.
That's the last thing to leave.
You know,
His mind is gone.
Whether it work or not, he still wanna talk like it works.
Well, you know, if a man is healthy enough, we could produce children well into our 90s. I mean, if we're healthy enough. I mean, you guys are the ones, you know. Yeah, I mean, you guys stop. You don't, you know, have any produce any more eggs and things of that nature. But we can keep on going. So, but I just think it's just very disrespectful thing. Both sides of it, you know,
and they don't prepare us for that either. They don't prepare you in school. And let me say this too. It's such a disservice because you said CNAs, where CNAs cannot work in nursing homes. Well, when I worked in a nursing home, they could not work in nursing homes. To work in a nursing home, you must be a STNA. You have to be state tested. A lot of CNAs and home health care assistants are in homes, which is ass backwards, would it not be? Because at being a state tested, we had to learn more qualifications, rules, and regulations to go in a nursing home. But I feel like it's a little more dangerous being in somebody's home when you're there with them by yourself. There's nobody there for you to talk to or call in that instance when you're in somebody's home, because I've done both.
Right.
And I've ran across situations that were unsafe or something happened and you are alone in that person's home. What can you do if something is not 911 deemable? You know what I mean?
And you're the one vulnerable. I mean,
Right.
a lot of times you're in this person's home. They have family members who are probably younger sons or younger daughters. I mean, you're there as a professional taking care of their elderly. But if the elderly decides to act a fool and they sense that you're doing something to their loved one, they may come try to jump on you. And who do you have at that moment? Now, you can probably call somebody later, but at that point, you all beat up and shit.
How far away are they?
Right, exactly. That's my point. By the time you get the help you need, you all beat up, scarred up, you know, traumatized, whatever. You know,
Marissa answered your question a little bit.
Oh, okay. It's triggering because my precious grandmother was in a nursing facility and I hated it because of such possibilities. In general, this is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for me because, like I said, I experienced it like Marissa did. It's heartbreaking for me because I know it's the last stop. It's the last stop on the train. So you know when your loved one, particularly an elderly one, when they go into one of these facilities, you know that the only way they're coming back out is in a box. You know what I mean? That's what's heartbreaking for me. And again, you know, we keep repeating this, but that wasn't the original plan. But that is what it is now because of the money involved. Black Gold says, yup, TheeEnicole speaking big facts. Nurses just do meds and doctors just prescribe meds. Nurse assistant does most of the work in care. No, not from experience. I know from experience. So yeah, the nurses have to administer the meds. The doctors prescribe them, but the nurse administers them. And these people have a bunch of pills, as I said. I've seen it with my father's medicine cabinet. And everything has a side effect. So you give them a yellow pill and they get angry, right? Then you give them a blue pill to offset the yellow pill, but the blue pill makes them cranky. Then you give them an orange pill, makes them hungry. Everything is to defeat the other side effect, but it has its own side effects. So they have all this stuff in their system, and it's affecting their mind, their mood, everything.
And when you have a problem with how the residents are being treated, and you report things or you bring things up, you red flag things, the issue is not the facility's problem. You are now the issue because now you're forcing them to work harder.
And now you're really worried about your loved
And I
one.
just couldn't deal with it no more. I mean, as a worker, but yes, of course, for
Okay.
your loved one. But I feel that's some of the reason why a lot of workers don't speak up because they don't want to lose their job. You know, me at that time, I didn't care. I can go out and go get me another job. But
Mm.
if something is not right, I'm going to tell you because you're not going to come to me as if I'm responsible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And as a consumer, on the other side of that, you know, your loved one is in there and you see mistreatment or something that could be better, and you go to the administrators and you complain about that. Now you're worried about your loved one and retaliation for the complaint.
Exactly. Yeah. Because
Because
they
that's a real thing.
too. Oh, you want to send your daughter up here to get smart with me? Well, we'll see if you eat today.
Yeah, stuff like that. You know, it's crazy. You know, so I really think the training, you know, as we close out, I think that the training needs to change. These people really need, you know, to be in residence for a period of time. People have to understand and really get a grip on their morals and their integrity, and always never lose sight of the fact that, what if this was my loved one? You know, put yourself in that position. Or even the resident has to say, if this was my daughter caring for me, would I behave like that? Now, if the resident is not in a right state of mind, you can't expect that. If someone's not in a right state of mind, you just have to deal with that and know what you're dealing with, because they don't know what they're doing at this point anymore. But if the person is in their right state of mind, just ill or whatever the case is, you know, they have to say to themselves, listen, if my daughter was in the industry taking care of me, or my son was taking care of me, whatever, would I behave like this? Would I be grabbing my daughter's breasts and her booty and trying to grab at her vagina and calling her all kind of names and asking her for blowjobs or whatever? You know, this the kind of stuff that just doesn't get reported. It doesn't get talked about. And we're talking about it now. So I guess someone will hear this and say, oh, the cat's out the bag. TheeEnicole and started some mess.
Yeah, just blame me for everything. You know, that's the name of the game. But even before that,
Yep.
start taking better care of yourselves. Start taking better care of yourselves because you don't have the end of your life does not have to be in a nursing home or a assisted living facility. Get healthier. Stop eating all this crazy food. Exercise. I'm talking to myself when I'm saying all of this. We need to get healthier as people. And then after that, we need to care more about our family, have genuine relationships with our families, because in other cultures, when their parents get older and up in age, they don't send them to some facility. They live with their children for their
Right.
children to take care of and to love them properly and safely. So it's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be changed and looked at differently. But we live in a day and age where nobody cares about each other.
And you
Me,
know,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. I'm just saying I kept my mother home with us. Me and my brothers kept my mother home with us until the last year of her life.
Mhm.
And then she went into a facility, and then she passed after 11 months. Being at home, these people being at home healing is just a great thing for them mentally, spiritually, physically. Being around loved ones is a great healing tool.
Yeah. Or just a
So, but
peaceful crossing over,
yeah,
being there with people that you love. 'Cause my grandfather stayed at home with us until his last day. So,
yeah.
and I don't
And,
want my parents to touch a facility unless my daddy preaching, my mama singing, he playing the saxophone, something like that. I don't want my parents in there. So.
and you know, and I'll close with this to piggyback on what you said about taking better care of ourselves. I know young people, yeah, we like to party and have a good time, and we should enjoy life. Life is to be enjoyed. You know, you take care of your business, you enjoy life, you make good decisions, you try to associate with good people, you go through this journey called life until it's time for you to leave here. But all of these different kind of over drinking, over drugging, lack of sleep, not drinking water. All these things kind of catch up with us later. Smoking cigarettes. Later on in life, you doing your body damage day by day, week by week, month by month, and then one day it just hits you. You sick. They say that internally, a person that smokes cigarettes, their body is 8 years older than their actual age because of all the tars and carcinogens and nicotine associated with the cigarettes, aging you rapidly internally. You ever see a smoker's lung and a healthy lung? It looks totally different. A smoker's lung doesn't even look like a lung. It looks like a piece of burnt barbecue. So we have to understand that we got to take better care of ourselves so we don't end up, like you said, in these nursing facilities. And please get some life insurance, Black people. Please have some life insurance and some coverage for your loved ones. So when you leave here, they don't have the additional burden of being sad about you passing, dealing with that loss, but now they have no money for your services. They can't put you away properly because there's no money. If you got money to party, if you got money for bags and shoes and all this other kind of stuff, get some damn life insurance, people. Come on now. We got to do better than this. You have any closing remarks, TheeEnicole?
I'm sorry, I was reading the comments.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I had to say. We just got to do better. It's a very sad subject. It's a very serious subject. And I think that people need to look more at subjects as if you were in those shoes, because karma always come back around.
Always. Madam Oracle says, and it's a very old saying, and it's very true. If you live long enough, once a man, twice a baby. Mm-hmm. Which basically means you come into this world wearing diapers and defecating on yourself, and if you live long enough, you'll be right back in diapers, defecating on yourself.
If you don't take care of yourself.
If you don't take care
I
of yourself.
only want to be a baby one time.
Right, yeah. So, but this has been very interesting. It's been very riveting. I hope we've informed some people and started a discussion that can be carried on throughout with other podcasts and other information. And hopefully this will come across somebody that can, make a difference in this industry.
Yeah. And not only that, but keep an eye on your family members. Love your family members more. Take care of yourself more. Take care of yourself more so that you can take care of each other's more. I said that wrong still, but y'all know I don't feel good. I do not feel good. I'm about to go right back in there and lay down.
Yeah. When we come back on the next one, I'm gonna sing you the old James Brown joint. I feel good because I knew that I would now. All right. It's all right. Because I got you.
Hey, and we got some good content creators in here, guys. Just before we get up out of here, I know we keep saying that, but make sure that y'all subscribe to Magnetic Repellent, my wonderful co-host. Make sure that you guys subscribe to Madam Oracle. She is my sister, and she is an amazing content creator. She big on law and what's going on in your neighborhood, knowing what's going on with the laws and the councils and all those things. That's her expertise. Check out Pretty Pickup, you guys. Even if you're not in the city, you can donate. You can support other people's businesses. Pretty Pickup is a wonderful business that specializes in the safety of women's transportation. Not just women, but that's the main focus. But it's inclusive, and I think that it's a very, very prevalent thing because we're talking about safety. We're talking about caring about people. We got to do more about supporting each other. And yes, Black Gold said life insurance is a must. You can hit me up because I am licensed to write life insurance policies. And I told you guys the Black Dollar Coalition is coming soon. So stay tuned for that. And we will be back here same time, same place next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another great show. Make sure that y'all be here Wednesday for Colorful Convo. Make sure you're here Thursday for Gossiping with the Grandmas. I love you guys so much. Thank you for your support, and we will see you guys next time. Say some prayers for me, y'all, because y'all hear my voice is almost gone, so I don't know what I'm going to do on Wednesday.
One love, everybody. Peace out.
Bye, y'all.